I love the kind of Pokemon that will actually just kill me. You know, when I got Isekai today, I was thinking, man, I really hope some hot mon will spill my guts all over the grasslands. And here we are. Everyone, this is Pokemon Legends Arceus, or Arceus I guess, since this game takes place in the past before we changed the pronunciation. Yes, Pokegod tasked you to go back in time to beat this effeminate looking man to near death so he can't use the gods of space and time to summon Poke-Satan to the world. Could he do it himself? Yes, absolutely. But Almighty Sinnoh deemed the test suitable for a nearly 15-year-old kid to attempt. Legally an adult in this world, the player is conscripted into a survey corps and tasked to capture all the Pokemon in this completely uninhabited but actually quite inhabited land. You see, in this world, people are afraid of Pokemon and see them as wild beasts. It is your duty to bridge the gap between them. You start in one area, meet two people, one from each of the feuding clans of the land, solve an issue for both of them, have a big boss fight at the end, and then move on to the next area to do the exact same thing. That is to say, the plot of this game is repetitive and unnecessarily redundant. The writing really just feels like it's there to try and explain why you have to have these boss fights instead of having any sense of natural progression, and then everyone in the Pearl clan won't shut up about the vastness of Hisui in every single sentence. But luckily, it's not the plot of the game that matters, it's the exploration. And as far as Pokemon games go, it actually does very well in this regard. Every biome feels distinct. Discovering the Pokemon that inhabit each area is fun. Sneaking around and capturing everything you can is enjoyable. Dodge rolling their attacks or taking a Hyper Beam at point blank range like that one dude from Heart Gold Soul Silver is pretty cool. And you can do battle if you want. The battle system itself is a bit different from the typical Pokemon game. It's still turn-based, but there's speed and move delay mechanics going on that nobody truly understands. But it's similar to Final Fantasy X's battle system. Battles occur in the world map instead of transitioning to a battle scene, and if you have aggroed multiple Pokemon, they will all gang up on you at the same time. The animations feel impactful, they have weight to them unlike the other Switch Pokemon games. Also, you can run around the middle of the battlefield if you want, which is pretty cool, but it only serves aesthetical purposes rather than a practical one. Still cool though. Buffs now have a timer on them before they wear out, and most status effects have been overhauled for this new system. Sleep no longer blocks you from acting, but behaves more like paralyzed and such. The battle system here is very solid. I would have loved to see them build off of it, but looks like they're going for a more action-time combat system in ZA, which does look interesting, so I'd like to at least try it out. But yes, the best thing about this game is the exploration and studying of Pokemon. It handles this part extremely well, it's just, there are some parts I wish they would have spent more time developing. For instance, you see the Sudowoodo. If you get close to it and it notices you, it'll freeze up and pretend to be a tree. See these fills? They're a bunch of goofballs. If you dodge roll towards them, they'll also roll away as if they're playing with you. Do you know the legend that Magikarp is based on? There's a mystical waterfall that if a carp can jump over it, it will become a dragon. And what do we have here? A waterfall with a bunch of Magikarp at the bottom of it. And what's at the top of the waterfall? A bunch of Gyarados. And Pokemon will sometimes actually sleep and make these really cute noises when they do. It's stuff like this that makes the game amazing to me. Someone clearly put some thought into the Pokemon of this game. So what do I think they could have done better? Well, people say that Legends Arceus is the Breath of the Wild or the Dark Souls of Pokemon, but honestly I got more Monster Hunter vibes from it. Very light Monhunt vibes, but Monhunt vibes nonetheless. You do survey tasks to learn more about the monsters in this new Hisui region, and then they try killing you. Every area has its own group of monsters, though some are shared throughout the zones. But with your study of the region, you teach the villagers of Jubilife how they can coexist with the monsters that they once feared. You craft items to help you capture new and more powerful Pokemon. Some help you do it stealthily, some help you with the more aggressive ones. It might not be as hard as Monster Hunter, but yes, it does have the same vibes as far as the ecological surveying side of things goes. I just wish that the Pokemon would actually wander around the maps like they do in Monster Hunter. I wish I could see Alpha Pokemon get into territorial disputes with other Alphas. I was hoping that future Legends games would go more into the Monster Hunter ecology route, like finding evidence and studying the remnants of legendary Pokemon while hunting, surveying other zones. And then you could unlock more difficult and stronger Pokemon surveys after gathering enough information about them. Unfortunately, ZA looks like it took away all the exploration and surveying side of things. As mentioned, the battle system does look interesting, but aside from that, I'm not sure if ZA will be anywhere near as good as Arceus. I'll still try to keep an open mind until I finally play it, but if it doesn't pan out, well, I guess I could look forward to Monster Hunter Stories 3 next year instead, or just continue playing Digimon Story Time Stranger, which I also highly recommend. But I'm getting a bit off track. I said the game's writing is bad. It's mostly due to the repetitive nature of it. But after you beat the boss of the final area, the actual plot begins, and I do think the writing improves a lot from here. As in, it stops being repetitive and actually feels like stuff is happening. It's a bit contrived, but I could get what they were going for. That the plot of every area actually built up to this point. I feel like it would have been a lot better, but instead, we just get the aforementioned vastness of Hisui. We get, oh man, Pokemon is scary, but if I fight you in every other area, I'll get stronger. Oh, look at these plates. Yeah, these are cool. You should go collect more of them. Oh, what's this? You did everything we told you to. Your reward for obedience is banishment. Okay, the last one actually does advance the plot, but still, the way we get there just feels contrived to me. But once this part is reached, I actually do think that the plot is pretty decent. I feel like there's actual stakes to it and want to make sure that we save the world. Unfortunately, this section just doesn't last all that long. It's literally the last part of the game. You have a couple of mini-bosses, a couple of trainer battles, and then the final boss fight. After that, you beat the game. But luckily there is quite a large amount of post-game content. Throughout the game, you can do side quests for villagers. Capture a certain Pokemon or fill out its dex entry, which I'll get to in a bit, but once the post-game is unlocked, you get even more, and these side quests I actually do enjoy the writing for most of the time. You get to know the villagers, and you get to see the people that you do quests for start to trust Pokemon more. The Pokemon you bring back to the farmers help expand the farming land. It helps build up the world a little bit more and the more mundane aspects of it. It also reinforces some of the other pre-established Pokemon lore. For example, there's a quest involving a Drifloon that's getting awfully close to a child. If you know, you know. Once you beat the game, you start unlocking more missions and side quests for legendary Pokemon. More mechanics either become unlocked or start to appear more frequently, like mass outbreaks and space-time distortions and the Pokemon that show up in them. So it gives you even more reasons to go back out and explore. Though there is one mild annoyance here in this. If you want to truly finish the game and the post-game's plot, you do have to capture every Pokemon and complete its Pokedex entry. But the typical Pokedex doesn't exist in this world. You're a member of the Survey Corps, remember? You are the one filling out the Pokedex entries. To complete the Pokedex, every Pokemon has a series of tasks for you to study. Luckily, you aren't required to complete every task for every Pokemon, but you do have to do enough that your research level for each Pokemon reaches level 10. Most of these tasks are just capture X amount of Pokemon of the species, defeat X amount of Pokemon of the species, see the species use a certain move X amount of times, but you do have to do this for 241 Pokemon before you unlock the true final post-game boss. It's very grindy. Now, if you enjoy the exploration of other aspects of the game, it's not as bad as you probably think it is from hearing that, but yes, it is quite an ordeal that will take a large amount of time. I decided to make this video 2 weeks before ZA came out and didn't have enough time to get the footage for all parts of the post-game. I did stream the game years ago though, so that's the footage that you're seeing now. Had I the time, I would have gotten newer footage, because even though filling the Pokedex is grindy, it is fun. It's easily the best Pokemon game on the Switch, as much as I like the new Snap and Rescue Team DX. Now, moving on to something else. Some people complain about the game's graphics. Honestly, as long as the game is fun, I don't really consider that to be an issue. And it is fun. But maybe don't take my opinion into account though. My favorite game looks like this. Game Freak is a slightly bigger company than Neverland. So, I guess I can see why some people would be upset by it. Maybe Game Freak should contact Falcom for art direction in the future, I don't know. I feel like Game Freak is full of people that want to do better and make better Pokemon games, but then corporate gets involved and tells them not to waste money on features that will make the game more charming, since the games are going to sell millions anyway. It's really annoying seeing them capable of making something so great, and then seeing them self-sabotage like this. Like, look at the previews for ZA. As mentioned, I'm going to refrain from being too hard on it, but there are things I want to bring up which kind of inspired me to make this video to begin with. As much as I complain about the Pearl Clan incessantly referred to Hisui as vast, it did feel vast. You had different biomes to explore that all felt really big and huge. And what is ZA doing? The entire game takes place in Poke Paris. No, not the parasitic Pokemon, but literally the Pokemon version of Paris. The city. Here's wild zones that barely even classify as a city park. Why? What was the point of this? We never got a third version of Pokemon X and Y, so they could have done so much more with the Kalos region, but no. Did you want to revisit Poke France? Too bad, you're trapped in Paris now. Forever. Until they decide to release the rest of the region as DLC. Just so I'm clear, this is a hypothetical. I have no idea if that's the plan, but I'm going to be pissed if that is what they do. Unless ZA's base game is just so overwhelmingly remarkable that I'm blown away by it, but I highly doubt that'll be the case. It's as if they looked at the best qualities of Arceus and decided, let's do the exact opposite. Why is it even called Legends in the first place if it takes place here in the current time? It feels like they just gave it the moniker of Legends to trick people into buying it if they liked Arceus. Kind of like how Final Fantasy Online 1, 2, and 3 were given numbered mainline titles as well. ZA just looks like a completely different kind of game, and I think it shouldn't have Legends as part of its name. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe they'll do something interesting that'll make me go, oh, this is why it's called a Legends game. But so far, their previews have left a lot to be desired. Anyway, for our Legends Arceus review, I certainly spent a lot of time off topic, so let's get back to it. People complain about there being no voice acting in the game, and I get it. I think it could make an improvement. As long as the voiceover is good. If not, then no voice acting would be better. Of course, if they don't want to spend any money on any of that, even Animal Crossing sounds would be better than no or bad voice acting. But this is Game Freak, so yeah, I think they could afford some high quality voice acting. And if they do in the future, please make sure the Western release has dual audio, because dubs are better than subs. Fight me. Speaking of audio, you unlock different mounts in this game that give you utility or mobility options, unlocking more places for you to explore. You summon them with a flute, but everyone gets summoned with the exact same melody. So like, how do the mounts know which one you're actually wanting to summon? Do they all just like show up and then you tell the other ones to get lost? That said, I love the Sneasler one. Just look at this. Fantastic stuff here. Another thing to note is this guy. How did he get here? He's from Poke, New York and makes a lot of train references and people don't think he's insane. I'm pretty sure no one in the Pearl Clan has ever even seen a train before, yet they thought he was normal enough to not be a danger to their society. Even gave him an important role in the clan. There's literally no explanation for why he's here. He just is. It wasn't even used to foreshadow the next game. In universe, the player gets sent here because of Arceus. Makes sense. But Ingo? Was he sent by Poke Satan to be our rival? No, he's just here. No reasons ever given. No plot relevance. Even from a meta perspective, there's so many other characters they could have added into this game. Why did Game Freak pick him? People, please tell me. I can't rationalize it at all. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, yes, let's go over the NPCs next because this video isn't long enough as is. Everyone in this game seems to have some counterpart to the mainline Pokemon games. These characters are ancestors to the characters from the mainline series. Other than that superficial link, the fact that they are ancestors doesn't really play into the plot. Here's Hal's many times great-grandfather. He wears a funny hat. Probably because he's a Hawaiian who's now living in Hokkaido. Here's the other main character and quote-unquote rival of the game. I actually like the girl's design. I feel like they could have done more with the character though, and unfortunately that describes most characters in the game. They all basically have one character beat, a curse of this game's writing yet again. At least you get Hag Cynthia, which is hot. You also get Male Cynthia, which is significantly less hot. But yeah, going forward, I hope the Legends games improves the writing and does more for the Pokemon environments, their interactions with one another and the world around them. Like I said, I got some light Monster Hunter vibes from Legends Arceus and would love to see it move more in that direction. I want the Pokemon to feel more like a part of the world around them, scavenging for food, getting into battles with one another in the wild, migration patterns, stuff like that. Maybe ZA will surprise me. Like I said, I'm trying to keep an open mind, but we'll see when that game finally comes out. Or maybe it'll already be out by the time this video goes out, in which case, come watch my streams.